Welcome back to the 2015-2016 NBA preview. Today we are going to be covering the Sacramento Kings at number 19. My name is Joshua Enviers, and today with me is my co-host, like usual.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's the one and only legend of winning, aka Low, back at it again, getting into some very, very interesting teams. Sacramento Kings, man. Let's get into it.
That said, let's take a look at what the Kings did leading up to this season.
The Kings are an extremely interesting team. A lot of poor management team, a lot of questionable decisions, a lot of things that I probably believe they will probably redo and try to go back and reorganize their team. Something that probably isn't known much. Since 2007, this team has actually had 7 top 10 draft picks. Players ranging from
Thomas Robinson, Nick Stauskas,
Tyreke Evans.
A bunch of players that didn't really fit. With that said team,
and I don't think really got a fair chance. But now it seems like they're trying to really build around DeMarcus Cousins and give that a fair shake. Unfortunately, though, over the past 2 or 3 years, that doesn't really seem like it's going to, work out as well. New coach George Karl kind of made his entry halfway through the season after they got rid of defensive-minded Mike Malone. Again, something that management really
a little too early.
I do agree, a little too early. He probably should have finished the season. And again, DeMarcus Cousins didn't like that decision. So a lot of shaky and questionable decisions from management. But we are where we're at right now, and we'll see what they're going to do this year.
Which leads us into the summer acquisitions for the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings acquired Rajon Rondo, Seth Curry, Marco Bellinelli, guys like Quincy Acey and Caron Butler, along with Kosta Koufos.
But Rondo, of course, is the biggest question mark with their acquisition and how he's going to fit in with this team. But
paid him a lot of money for 1 year.
But it's only 1 year, so if it doesn't work out, it's not a long-term deal for him. But it's most definitely trying to figure out where he is in his career, his value moving forward.
What the Sacramento Kings lost, they lost Andre Miller, Derek Williams, Carl Landry, Ray McCallum, Nick Stauskas, Jason Thompson, a lot of role players. I feel like they gave up a little bit too early on Ray McCallum and along with Nick Stauskas, although Nick Stauskas does play the same role and didn't have that great of a rookie season.
So Andre Miller only brought in because to kind of just soothe George Karl, in my personal opinion. I do agree with you on Nick Stauskas and Ray McCallum. Even though Nick Stauskas really wasn't doing what they probably thought he was going to do rather quickly, they really didn't give him much of a chance, and I really do believe he'll be somewhat of a good spot-up shooter in this league. Another player that I'm a fan of that I just feel like they didn't give too much time and effort into is Derek Williams, but they kind of just let him go quite freely as well.
A player that they gave too much time?
What's that?
Jason Thompson. Finally off the Kings.
True.
Big sigh of relief. And the draft pick, the main draft pick at least, is Willie Cauley-Stein at center. Him and Boogie, it's going to be nice to see. If they could get along, because, if you look at T-Rob, that didn't quite work out. They gave up on T-Rob a little bit too early. And then this scenario, it'd be very, very scary. A very scary shot-blocking team, though, if it works out.
It should be, but again, I don't necessarily know how George Karl is going to run this team with 2 legit bigs.
And that's why we have them this low compared to being in the playoffs, because the Kings are known to just be that team where they look good on paper, but at the end they do not produce. Moving on to the rotation, Willie Cauley-Stein is probably going to get the start at center, or DeMarcus Cousins, and then Rudy Gay, Ben McLemore, and depending on who would be the point guard, we have Darren Collison starting for now.
I think we just hinted it before, though. Willie Cauley-Stein and DeMarcus Cousins both inside. Don't really know how the spacing and how everything's going to work with that, especially because George Karl is an up-tempo type of a coach. Half-court setting, it should work out, but again, he wants to push the pace. But I'm not, I actually like Derek Collison, Ben McLemore, and Rudy Gay on the perimeter, so I'm not hating at that at all.
Take a look at the bench. We have Kosta Koufos, Quincy Acey, Caron Butler, Marco Bellinelli, and Rajon Rondo.
I think that Darren Collison year last year when he was starting, he didn't really put up crazy numbers. And then the year before that, he was actually on the bench for the Mavs. So I think a lot of people have kind of labeled him as his bench player. So I think he already has.
Yeah, he got his job stolen in Indiana and with the Mavs. It's kind of crazy.
So I think he's kind of been labeled in the NBA as like just a backup point guard, not really bringing too much. He's not really a specialist at anything. I think that's the reason why, especially in today's NBA, at the point guard position, you need to be a specialist at something. And Rondo does have that trait, even though he's god awful at shooting. He does have the trait of commanding attention when it comes in a fast break, the pace, he controls that, and also the way he passes and facilitates, at least Rondo at the height of what we believe he can be. But I don't know about that. I can really see George Karl kind of pulling the trigger. Everything else, though, I'm not hating on it. I like this rotation. I like the backups at least. It's just, again, I don't necessarily know about the DeMarcus Cousins and Willie Cauley-Stein, starting and things like that.
Which leads us to the questions surrounding the Sacramento Kings.
Like always, leave a comment in the comment section below answering to the big question. And the question for the Sacramento Kings is, how much time, and really and truly, are they really running out of time of the patience of DeMarcus Cousins? I see DeMarcus Cousins, it seems like he gets frustrated year in and year out. Last year,
but that's just his personality, to be completely honest. And they haven't got that one mentor for him either.
Nah, and that as well. And then the whole big thing with picking up George Karl as a coach, and you already hear rumblings about how those two just don't get along at all, and to the point where you're hearing trade rumors, even though a lot of upper management from the Kings are denying that. But how do you think that, DeMarcus Cousins' patience is running really, really thin with the organization, and he's probably going to demand a trade, or do you think this is all just, hearsay?
If I were the Kings have only drafted DeMarcus Cousins, who's really been a great bright spot for them. So if anything, I would not trade the one bright spot that you drafted, because who's really going to want to be playing for the Kings if it goes all down the drain by trading DeMarcus Cousins? I don't see him leaving at any time, because he's really the face of the franchise at this point.
As time progresses, and we're starting to see the same thing in OKC with Kevin Durant, you most definitely need to get on the good side of your franchise player, because if not, people are most definitely exercising every right and opportunity they have in free agency. And I think DeMarcus Cousins' contract ends in like 2 years now, so I can easily see him walking away from this organization. And once that happens, it kind of is all downhill for there.
Now on to the predictions for the Sacramento Kings.
The Kings, on paper, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are kind of looking at our list and being like, why are they so low? On paper, of course, they look good. They've looked, reasonably good for the past couple of seasons, but they consistently underachieve, and I think a lot of it just has to do with the lack of chemistry and the lack of understanding of where they're trying to go. Rondo, I can see him being somewhat of efficient, but if they're going to play both DeMarcus Cousins and Willie Cauley-Stein out on the court at the same time, then shooting most definitely needs to be prevalent, and he can't shoot. But in a nutshell, this team will underachieve yet again, even though they do have a really, really solid core in between DeMarcus Cousins and Rudy Gay. But they're still going to underachieve, just a simple fact that nobody on this organization and management really and truly knows how to build a solid team.
This is another team where the point guard position is really up in the air between Rajon Rondo, Darren Collison, and then signing Seth Curry, who had a great summer league. So they're a few trades away to doing something. They're obviously going to be doing a trade this season.
And I'm not going to lie, when I look at these draft picks that they had, I'm really ashamed that they haven't put a good team around DeMarcus Cousins. And I don't want to. They're starting to, but they had Tyreek Evans on his team. They just couldn't simply piece together that Tyreek Evans should probably start at point. I'm looking at these lineups and all these talent that they had on this team. They actually had Hassan Whiteside on this team at one point. Like, they drafted Hassan Whiteside, and he went on to do way better things. Nick Stauskas and Bill McLemore.
He was out of the league for a few years, though. You forgot about that.
That is true. But Nick Stauskas and Ben McLemore were drafted back-to-back, and both of them really don't seem like they're going to mature, or at least not on this team, into anything of any type of player of any type of value. But this is a shame that they can't piece together nothing around DeMarcus Cousins.
Hopefully soon. That said, we'd like to thank you guys for watching. If you could please leave a like and share this video with anybody you know, it would be greatly appreciated. These videos do take a long time to edit and record, so we would really appreciate it.
Like we always say, man, just share the video, like it, comment in the comment section below, because we do want to hear what you have to say. But always answer the question, and we'll see y'all next time. We are getting closer to playoff teams. So that's always a plus.
Anyways, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye, guys.